Hi, let's welcome Dr. Sanjay Dhawan, the top ophthalmologist of our country. Top के साथ साथ में he is the most trusted, most loved, most respected doctor that I have seen around. और एक चीज दावे के साथ बोल सकती हूँ कि एक बहुत बढ़िया डॉक्टर होने के साथ साथ में ही इज अ मैन ऑफ हाईएस्ट लेवल ऑफ इंटेग्रिटी. वो किसी के फायदे के लिए किसी का नुकसान जानबूझ के कभी नहीं होने देंगे. सो ये कॉन्वर्सेशन, ये पॉडकास्ट बहुत स्पेसिफिक भी होने वाला है और इट इज माई अटेम्प्ट कि आप डॉक्टर धवन को जानिए बिकॉज इट्स अ ट्रेजर. सो वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट लाइफस्टाइल इश्यूज. सुना सुना सा लग रहा है? वी ऑल हियर इट दीज डेज कि हमारे लाइफस्टाइल इश्यूज हैं, हमारी लाइफस्टाइल बड़ी खराब हो गई है. क्वेश्चन ये है कि भाई ऐसा क्या कर रहे हैं हम अपनी लाइफस्टाइल में? नॉर्मल सिंपल जीवन जीते हैं, बट व्हाट इज रियली द प्रॉब्लम? So I hope Dr. Dhawan answers that. Second thing that I'm really going to go deep dive into is the children's eye care. बच्चे आजकल obviously जिसको देखो चश्मे लग गए हैं, ये हमें पता है, बट कैसे अवॉइड करें और इसका कॉज क्या है? इसको क्या चीज है जो हम बच्चों को बता सकते हैं या करवा सकते हैं जिससे इसके चांसेस कम हो जाएं? और खाली चश्मा एक प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, बट ओवरऑल आई हेल्थ. सो वी आर गोइंग टू डू अ लॉन्ग जर्नी, डीप डाइव इनटू चिल्ड्रंस आई केयर. और मुझे कुछ बच्चों ने बड़े प्यार से कुछ सवाल भेजे हैं. कुछ बच्चे पूछ रहे हैं कि हमारी लाइफ में स्क्रीन भरा हुआ है, हमें पता है कि ये खराब है, बट स्क्रीन छोड़ने को मत बोलना, बट फिर भी हम अपनी आई हेल्थ कैसे ठीक रख सकते हैं? सो लेट्स सी इफ डॉक्टर धवन हैज अ तोड़ फॉर दैट. And then, of course, we're going to talk about cataract also, retinal pigmentation, macular degeneration, all the things जो कि किसी ना किसी को फैमिली में या फ्रेंड सर्कल में we are hearing about it. और जितना इसके बारे में जाने उतना कम है. देन माय फेवरेट, वी आर गोना टॉक अबाउट कि आर्टिस्ट की लाइफ में जो कि लाइट और मेकअप से भरी रहती है पूरे जीवन, क्या उनका इम्पैक्ट कुछ आईज पे होता है कि नहीं होता है? मुझे डाउट है, आई एम नॉट टू श्योर, और मैंने कभी डॉक्टर धवन से पूछा भी नहीं है, तो आज कर लेते हैं. So with this, I am hoping for a power-packed conversation and allow me to welcome Dr. Dhawan. अक्सर एवरीबडी सेज कि जितने भी हमारे फिजिकल इश्यूज हैं वो लाइफस्टाइल रिलेटेड हैं, राइट? मैं अगर पर्सनली अपना बोलूँ तो मुझे मेरी लाइफस्टाइल में समझ नहीं आता कि मैं गड़बड़ क्या करती हूँ. बिकॉज लाइक सिंपल सीधी जिंदगी जीते हैं, राइट? बट देर आर इश्यूज, देर आर हेल्थ इश्यूज. सो व्हाट एग्जैक्टली डू यू मीन बाय लाइफस्टाइल इश्यूज इन द केस ऑफ आईज?
Okay. So, first of all, thank you for asking this question. This is very close to my heart. And for this, I'll say कि अपने आप को कुछ साल पीछे ले जाइए.
Okay.
कुछ साल means maybe 1,000 years back.
Oh, okay. Easy.
Very easy. So, look at ourselves. We are all animals.
Right.
We were all designed to be animals living out in the jungle. And so that was the lifestyle which we were supposed to live. But civilization, development, we call it development and civilization, but it's actually the other way around.
Yeah.
Has brought in a lot of changes in the way we live. For example, we have a roof on top of us. We wear clothes, no?
Yeah.
We live indoors, no? We walk on firm, flat surfaces, no? We sit upright most of the time rather than being on 4 feet, no? The food we eat is very different from what we were supposed to eat. So now you see that how far departed or deviated from the natural life we are. This is the lifestyle which is the root cause of all the diseases. To give an example, animals don't get a disc prolapse, don't get a backache, they don't get arthritis when they're living in the wild. I'm talking about wild animals, not the pet animals that we keep at home, but the animal in the wild, they don't get those issues. No?
Yeah.
Because our spine was not supposed to bear the weight, but the moment the day the man became upright, the problem started. No? The day we started wearing shoes and started walking on hard surfaces, no, the arthritis came into being. So the food that we were supposed to eat was fresh, raw fruits and vegetables.
Right.
Even if we eat fruits and vegetables, they're all cooked, processed, and heavily processed. No?
Heavily.
So what we are eating is not that what we were supposed to eat. We were supposed to be running around in the fields, out in the open, in the jungle, working very hard, looking for food, eating a little bit of food, and then sleeping and resting. And so mostly we're trying to look at far off things and look at the near things only very only when we're eating something. Now the food that we eat is very rich in calories,
Right.
rich in nutrients, mostly nutrients which we don't really need, and we don't have to work hard for that. We just sit, order, and the food is served.
Right.
So the lifestyle is completely different from what we were designed for. So the nature had designed us in a certain way, and we are not living in that way. So that is where we say these are the lifestyle disorders which have come into play.
But we can't go back.
Unfortunately, we cannot go back.
Yeah.
That is the saddest part of it. However, we can try to, the moment we know that that is the reference point and how far we have come, we can at least try to make some modification in our existing lifestyle to mimic the natural lifestyle, to simulate or wherever possible, lead as natural life as possible. For example, in the food habits, the farm to plate distance should be reduced. Anything which can be shelved or processed, is not worth eating. So our food should be as natural as possible, as minimalistic as possible. We should work harder. We were designed to do physical labor. We are just sitting throughout the day. So for that, we need to work hard in the form of whether we go to gym and do exercise or do outdoor sporting activities and all, but we need to work our body.
Right.
We need to rest our mind. And my key phrase is, work your body, rest your mind. And we do the other way around.
Work your body, rest your mind.
We're doing the other way around. I mean, so we are working our mind throughout the day, and our body is sitting still.
True.
So this is the lifestyle which is the root cause of many of the ailments and problems that we face nowadays. Not just physical, but also mental.
So you're saying that lifestyle का जो issue है वो इसलिए क्योंकि हम ज़्यादातर समय बैठे रहते हैं और दिमाग हमारा over consumed है, over informed है.
Right.
There's too much that's going around us.
Yes. Yeah. Our mind is in a state of overdrive, and the body is in a state of lethargy. So that's one. And also that everything that we consume is almost synthetic. Even the food has become, it's so
Absolutely.
so much different from natural that you can, it won't be inappropriate to call it synthetic.
Right. So you're saying that the lifestyle that affects our eyes clearly is sitting for long hours and consuming food which is largely synthetic, being over consumed on a mind part. Right. And now, if it affects the eyes, how about the children? Like a child, वो अभी अगर नया बच्चा दुनिया में आया है, 3-4 साल का हुआ है, 5 साल का हुआ है, इतने छोटे बच्चे ने इतना कितना स्ट्रेस ले लिया? Like अगर हम at 30-40 we say that okay we have been there, done that, but even the kids are having way more eye issues today than ever. How does that logic work?
So look at, I would say that the best way to understand this is to look at the animal world.
Okay.
And if you go in the jungle, if you look at small baby animals, what do? They're jumping around all over the place. They're teasing each other. They're fighting with each other. They're teasing their parents, or they're eating something and then again jumping, They're hardly resting. They're not looking at any screen. They're not reading any books.
Right.
They're not sitting still. And they are in the mud. They're in the muck, and they play throughout the day. And when they get tired, then they sleep. And when they wake up, they start playing again.
Right.
Whereas our kids, we kind of programming them to work like robots and machines, to sit still, to read the books, to look at the screens, to go to school, come back from school, to go to classes, to come back from classes, to go for coaching, come back from coaching, and then eat the food that we serve them on the table. There's hardly any life left for them. So obviously, they also have lifestyle issues. So the lifestyle of a kid, I think, is even worse than lifestyle of an adult.
Because they're dependent.
They're dependent. And those are the formative years where they were actually supposed to be doing all the physical thing in the nature.
Rough it out.
So that they could become robust adults.
Yeah.
But that part is gone. That opportunity of developing the body and the mind out in the nature is gone. So when they become the adults, they're not the most perfect hardware or software.
I think आप जो कह रहे हो उसका another example is also कि जो not so well to do घरों के बच्चे होते हैं वो ठीक ठाक होते हैं, हेल्दी होते हैं.
Yes.
हमारे शहर में वो ब्रिज के नीचे रहते हैं.
Yes.
जबकि हमारी गाड़ी वहां से निकल जाती है
Yes.
और वो खेल रहे हो, नाक बह रही है, हाथ पाँव में पूरी मिट्टी लगी हुई, खेल रहे हैं,
Yeah.
but they're just fine.
So look at Delhi. Is the temperature outside is about 47.
Yeah,
And those kids are out on the street in the
yeah,
sun.
yeah.
They don't even have a fan.
Mm,
Our kids are in air condition and they feel it's very hot.
yeah.
You know, they feel it's very unbearable heat, you know, despite the air conditioning. So that is the conditioning our lifestyle has brought in. And so it's actually we have not become civilized. We have not become developed. No, it is a development and civilization in reverse which has happened. But there's no way of, as you said, there's no way of going back now.
But what can a young parent do?
So, first of all, allow your kids to live their life. That's important. And if, you know, play is more important than studies. Do not overemphasize studies. Do not overemphasize you know, books and text and exams and marks. You know? And because that's not what gonna you know, prepare them for life.
Right.
Do not prepare them for occupation. Do not prepare them for a job. You know, prepare them for life. You know, prepare them to be happy and healthy, rather than preparing them to be rich. So that is the so your approach has to be different. You know, you have to look at the life in totality and the way that you would want them to live their life as a happy and healthy individual.
So a couple of children had asked me to ask you this, that when you say healthy and in context to eyes, they have screens around them. You know, they like it, of course, they love it. But even if they're aware, but school में screen है, homework screen पे करना है, entertainment भी screen पे है, sports भी screen ही पे हो रहा है,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah.
So kids have asked me to ask you, कि what can they do?
So what I tell most kids is that minimize the screen time to what is required, bare minimum required. Of course, it is required now as part of their education
Yeah.
and the part of the system. No? So
Yeah.
keep it to minimum required. And wherever it's not essential, sacrifice that screen time. So the entertainment and the play and the sport should happen out in the open, not on the screen. No? And kids do understand that. Take frequent breaks. I say take a minute's break every 15 minutes, no? And a 5 minutes walking break after every hour, and a longer break after a few hours. So that's the advice I give to all the kids and to the adults also who spend long hours on screen.
Have you, in your experience, seen people being able to make that change? Kids,
Yes,
especially?
people who are motivated are able to make the change, especially the ones who get the discomfort and the problems. You know. Then they get motivated, and then when they make the change and they see the benefit, then they persist with it. So, unfortunately, when they get the aches and pains and the discomfort and the symptoms, it's already quite late. But once they make those adjustments and changes, they see the benefit, and then they persist with those changes.
So these aches and pains, typically बच्चे आपके पास किस तरह की कंप्लेन लेके आते हैं?
So, simple eye strain, redness, itching, watering from the eyes, no. Sometimes blurring of vision or fluctuating vision. Headaches are very, very common in kids these days, no. So sometimes even irritability. And so these are the common symptoms with which the kids are brought to me by the parents.
So ये वो होते हैं जो वो define कर पाते हैं
Yes, yeah.
कि irritation हो रही है,
Yeah.
itching
All
हो रही है.
parents notice or observe that कि बच्चा ऐसे करता है, बच्चा बहुत frequently blink करता है, forcefully blink करता है. So these are all the signs and symptoms of discomfort caused by the screen usage.
But let's detail this a bit. कि what are the signs that a parent could be aware of?
So general redness, irritation, watering from the eyes, pain in the eyes, discomfort in the and around the eyes, headaches, irritability, loss of concentration, sometimes low mood, and difficulty in sleeping. These can all be the symptoms of excessive screen usage. So screen usage can not only cause physical symptoms but also mental issues. You know? So a low mood, even to the extent of being depressed, is quite common with long screen hours.
Yeah.
And it's not the screen per se which may be causing that, but the whole lifestyle associated with it. You know? So if you're on screen for long duration, you're not physically active. You're spending time indoors, so you're not exposing to the sun. You're not exposed to the natural elements. You know? And so all these add up to a low mood or even depression.
And then it could mean that one thing leads to another.
Yeah.
And it could affect any organ.
Yes. Yeah. And also excessive use of screens, excessive reading, excessive near work is also supposed to accelerate myopia. It may not directly cause myopia, but if somebody is predisposed to myopia because of, say, heredity or genetics, or has a natural tendency for it, in those cases, myopia can progress really faster if there's an excess of screen usage, excess of near work. No? And it is seen that the kids who spend more time outdoors, the progression of myopia is slightly less in them.
Yes, sir. Is sunglasses a relevant hardware for children?
Not necessarily, because we say, and on the plains there's hardly any bright sun, and we don't really go out too much. No, so I would say it is the lack of sun which is more of a problem than exposure to the sun. On the screen also, there no really harmful radiation coming from the screen.
There isn't?
There isn't, And there's so much of a talk about blue light, but
Yeah.
That is something which you can make an adjustment in the screen. You can turn it to a warm light, And yes, the blue light, in fact, all light can over a period of time add to some injury to the retina.
Okay.
And we call it photic damage. But that is the total amount of light going into the eye. And
Okay.
but it's not particularly blue light or wearing blue cut glasses will make much of a difference. No,
It doesn't?
There are only very, very few studies which say, okay, fine, they've got some additional harmful effect on the retina or on the macula.
Okay.
But no definitive thing. See, these things work more when, suppose you remove the natural lens of the eye, which has a filtering effect on the eye.
Right.
And then you plant an artificial lens. Then a more blue light going into the eye can be harmful, but not with the natural lens in the
Not
eye,
with the
with the
natural
natural lens of the
lens.
eye. But having said that, yes, making your screen slightly warmer in color may be slightly beneficial.
Easier. It
Easier.
just feels easier on eye.
Putting glasses on the eye, say a plain glass, can decrease the tear evaporation from the eye. So that way it can be helpful. It may cause a little less drying of the eye. Again,
Putting a layer,
glasses in front of the eye
yeah,
can lead to reduce evaporation of tears. So it may cause a bit of a less of drying when you're working on the screen. Also blinking more frequently.
So why does that happen? The light coming from the screen
So
meets the glass.
Our eyes are more open. When you're looking at the screen, we blink less frequently, so the tear evaporation increases. So having a glass reduces the tear evaporation to some extent by minimizing the turbulence of air around the eyes. And also we should make a conscious effort to blink more frequently. So again, to decrease the tear evaporation, decrease dryness in the eyes.
Like intentionally blink
Intentionally
more?
blinking more frequently, taking the eyes off the screen, closing the eyes, giving rest to the eyes. These are all helpful measures. One can also use lubricant eye drops, but it's better to resort to natural measures rather than anything artificial.
So I was curious about the sunglasses. 100 रुपए के भी सनग्लास मिलते हैं और लाखों के भी मिलते हैं. जो 100 रुपए के मिलते हैं, क्या वो एक्चुअली सनग्लास होते हैं?
See, every glass has got some filtering properties. Like every glass you put in front of the eye does filter out some degree of, say, UV rays also, but not to great extent. The glasses which we got actual UV filter, they're more expensive also. They filter out UV rays to more great extent. But we are not exposed to UV rays in the plains. Right. So if we were to go to high altitude or exposed to the snow or to the beaches and the sea, where the UV radiation is slightly more intense, that's where we actually need the UV protected glasses.
Right.
But in the routine course of life on the plains, we don't really need much. We just need sunglasses to maybe soften the brightness of the sun and make it slightly easier for the eyes.
बस.
Yeah.
उतना ही है.
Yes, that is the all benefit. We don't need anything more than that. It's an overkill.
So does like अगर किसी को पावर नहीं है और वो ऐसे 0 नंबर का चश्मा अगर पहन के स्क्रीन्स यूज करता है, is that helpful?
Very little. As I said that maybe the dryness is slightly less, but not much of a benefit.
So ये जो dryness less basically glass का यही मतलब हुआ कि वो एक बहुत direct light आपकी आंखों में नहीं जा रही है, एक layer है उस that takes
it's
the
not to do with the light so much, it's more to do with the evaporation and the turbulence around the eyes. So the tear evaporation is reduced.
Yeah. And that is tear retention हो जाएगा तो anyways the eyes are healthier. Okay. And आजकल vision impairments काफी ज़्यादा देखने को मिल गए हैं, like from a younger age to larger age, and I guess screen is one reason,
It's
lifestyle
only
in
one
general,
of the factors,
you
one
know?
of the small factors.
But not so much in detail, but अगर किसी को विजन लॉस हो जाए तो वो, और जब एकदम से हो जाए, बाय बर्थ नहीं है, तो अपने ऑफिस एंड होम एनवायरनमेंट में क्या कुछ चीजें हैं जो कर सकते हैं जिससे कि लाइफस्टाइल एकदम स्टॉप ना हो जाए उसका?
So when you say impairment, I think that you mean that wearing glasses and all. So
या लाइक मतलब काफी हद तक कि दिखने में बहुत डिफिकल्टी हो गई है, बहुत ही ज्यादा डिपेंडेंसी आ गई
So
है.
there you, of course, you need to consult an eye specialist or an ophthalmologist to see that what is the cause of the decreased vision and get a proper treatment done for that. If it's only a matter of glasses, then wear the glasses. And to prevent, say, excessive increase in the number, you can adopt a healthier lifestyle, cut down the near vision time, cut down the screen time to what is possible, spend more time outdoors, lead an overall healthy life, and hope that the number will not increase too much. But the occurrence of refractive error and the progression of refractive error depends more on the heredity and less on the lifestyle. Lifestyle can cause discomfort to the eyes, can cause an artificial myopia or pseudomyopia, can cause pain, discomfort, headache, those kind of things. It does not directly lead to a refractive error.
It's more to do with the genetics?
With the genetics, yes.
Oh. So you mean to say कि if parents or one of the parent has a difficulty in the vision,
Yeah.
it's quite possible that it will pass to the
Very
child?
highly likely. If a parent or both parents have got significant refractive error, there's a very high chance that the kids will also get it. And usually it follows the trend of either the parents or an average kind of a trend.
Oh.
Yeah.
And can it be knowing as a parent that if I have an issue, it could pass? Can something be done so that the impact is least for the child?
You can't change the parents, unfortunately.
No.
So
Parents तो नहीं.
parents cannot be changed. And there is
तो
nothing
मतलब
that
होना ही होना है.
so that the hereditary tendency which is there, that cannot be altered. So when we go give good things to when the kids inherit good things from the parents, they inherit bad things too.
Bad things as
So we have to take it as part of life and accept it as such. And there's nothing wrong with that, no. But yes, with that, it's good idea to have a healthy lifestyle. Give your kids a healthy lifestyle. Make sure that they're not always looking at close things only, whether it's screen or it's textbooks also.
Not too close.
They should spend a lot of time outdoors. They should eat healthy, eat variety of vegetables, variety of fruits, healthy lifestyle, do a lot of physical exercise, play sports, lead a happy, cheerful life.
Sorry, but I've got a little concern there. Are you saying कि अगर parents में से किसी को retina pigmentation हो गया या macular degeneration हो गया, glaucoma हो गया, so it is quite likely that the child will also get it?
Most of these things have got a very strong hereditary tendency. So glaucoma so there's a family history of glaucoma. The kids are very likely to have very much higher risk. If there's a family history of degeneration in the retina, the children are at very, very high risk to get that. And
so can something be done for the child? Like if I know that I have X and it's likely to pass on to the child, can anything be done so that अब हमें तो मुझे तो पता नहीं था कि मुझे हो गया, but उसके लिए
every disease basically an outcome of hereditary factors and environmental factors.
Right.
It is the environmental factors which are in our control, which we can alter and change. So the environment can actually either amplify a disease or minify a disease. So those adjustments we can make, and they are basically common adjustments, leading a healthy life and starting it early, right? So suppose, say, you have a family history of macular degeneration due to age, and if after the age of 60 you start consuming those antioxidants, it does not really help because by now the damage is already done. But if you lead a good, healthy life from, say, very, very young age, for example, smoking predisposes to that. So if you do not smoke throughout your life, you're likely to have a healthier macula, healthier retina in old age.
Smoking affects?
Smoking affects the retina. Smoking affects the lens also. Smoking affects every part of the eyes. And so your nutrition, your diet makes a difference. But consuming antimetabolites or the supplements later in life is not of much use. By then, the damage has already been done. You need to be watchful about your diet and what you eat right from your young age. So the saddest part is when we are young, when we are in our 20s, we think that we are invincible and everything is fine for us. And all these things which they talk about on various media
वो
are
किसी और को होता
applicable
है.
to old people,
Yeah.
not for us.
Yeah.
Not realizing that it is the habits, that in our 20s which will decide how we will be in our 60s. So it's more important to teach the younger people to lead a healthy life so that they don't reach a stage where lifestyle disorders set in. Once the lifestyle disorders set in,
फिर
it's,
कुछ
it's
नहीं हो
already
सकता.
too late. It's a building which is already crumbling. How much can you save it?
Oh. And does passive smoking also affect?
Yes, it's a form of, yes, you're consuming toxins actively or passively.
घर में कोई भी अगर
Yeah, so,
Smoking
so
करता है
just
तो-
like, when you go out in the street, the pollution affects you
It affects.
also. So whatever is there in your environment does affect you to a lesser or greater extent. The person who's smoking himself is at a higher risk because the load of toxins going into the body or the dose going in is much higher. A passive smoker gets a smaller dose, but does get some dose at the end of the day.
during pregnancy, if the mother is using a lot of screen, being on the phone for a long time, does that affect the health of the child, the eye health, let's say?
So a screen viewing by the mother cannot affect the eye health or health of the child directly.
Okay.
But if a mother is spending long hours on the screen, it
Huh.
also means that she's sitting for long hours.
Right.
She's indoors for long hours.
Right.
She's less active. Probably her lifestyle is not the best of the lifestyle. No. It is that lifestyle which is associated with long screen hours which may adversely affect the health of the fetus. So again, it comes to the lifestyle.
I see.
And it's not just the screen, but it's a whole, syndrome that...
Because obviously we watch the screen बैठ के ही देखते हैं.
Yes. So if you're working on the screen for 8 to 9, 10 hours in a day, that means 8 to 10 hours a day you're sitting. Very few people take a standing workstation. And I advise
Yeah.
people that, go for standing workstation. 1 hour you work sitting down and 1 hour you work standing.
Right.
And take frequent breaks, walk around, do physical exercise. So alter your lifestyle. Yes, screens have become an inherent part of our lives.
Yeah.
We cannot stop using them. But we should still, aim to keep the use to minimum.
Yeah,
And
because
work cannot be sacrificed, but yes, entertainment can be sacrificed. You can find out alternative ways of entertaining ourselves,
being entertained.
which can be actually more healthy for us. So rather than sitting in front of the TV screen and watching IPL, go out and play cricket yourself.
Does dehydration have a role to play in vision health? If somebody's not drinking enough water, staying dehydrated?
Yes, it does affect the comfort of vision. And
It affects what?
The comfort of vision
Huh.
and the comfort of the eyes.
Okay.
So one needs to stay hydrated. And hydration is an extremely important, water is very, very important for the whole body. Just imagine that 98% of our brain mass is water. Only 2% is solid matter. And 65% of our body is water. If we take the lean body mass, excluding the fat, 72% of our lean body mass is water only. So the water is the most important constituent of our body in the whole system. If we run low on water, our body does not function optimally. And so it leads to a lot
But
of
बहुत लोग
problems.
होते हैं जिनको प्यास नहीं लगती है, लगती नहीं है.
Body does conserve water also, and there's a lot of adaptation which happen. But by the time you feel thirsty, you're actually dehydrated. So you should
Yeah.
actually be having water even before you feel thirsty. And it does affect your mood, it does affect your efficiency, it does affect your attention span, it does affect your memory, it does affect your performance.
पर जिनको प्यास नहीं लगती है, वो क्या मतलब जैसे हम कहते हैं ना read your body and your body will give you signs.
Yeah.
तो अगर body sign ही नहीं दे रहा है कि पानी पीने की
Yes,
जरूरत है.
listen to your body, that's what I say. But I think that because of a certain lifestyle, we got so much used to not drinking water that our body also has stopped giving those early signals. But if we actually, I say that start your day with a glass of water. Have a glass of water with every meal and also whenever you feel thirsty. So that is the simplest way, and carry your own water with you everywhere. If you have your own bottle of water with you, it's easy to drink water. So at the slightest of thought of water, you'll be able to drink it. So
ये आपने बहुत
hydration
सही
is
कहा.
hydration is extremely important.
I relate with this.
Yeah.
By matter of a lifestyle, we don't drink water, and then the body stops giving us those signals only.
Yeah.
So we should listen to the body till certain point. Body बोल बताएगी भी कि प्यास लग
Yes,
रही है,
yeah,
but हम busy हैं, हम ध्यान नहीं दे रहे हैं.
yeah.
And beyond a point, body stops to tell.
Yes, so actually we kind of turn those signals off. It's like, having alerts on your phone and you switch off the alerts.
Yeah.
So our lifestyle says that many times we have actually switched those alerts off. So we don't get those signals from the
And फिर
body.
body बोलना बंद कर
Yes,
देती है.
yeah.
So what is it that people should know about dry eyes and watery eyes? Both.
So paradoxically, the first symptom of dry eye is watering from the eyes.
Oh.
Yeah.
It starts with watering.
It starts with watering. So
And then it goes dry.
The watery eye may be a sign of dry eyes. So what happens is that dry eye does not necessarily mean a deficiency of water or tear in the eyes.
Okay.
Basically, dry eye means the tear film which covers your cornea and maintains its health and clarity. That tear film is deficient in terms of quantity or quality. Sometimes it breaks. See, if you kind of say your windshield wiper, you will run the wiper in the rain.
Right.
And then it forms a uniform layer of water, the vision becomes clear. But sometimes the bubbles form, it becomes blurry.
Disturb ho jata hai.
So the dry spots form on the surface of the cornea, and they cause irritation of the cornea, and that leads to reflex watering. So watering is many a times the first symptom of dry eye. And the actual inherent dry eye is not very common. Most of the dry eyes are situational, and most common cause is the screens nowadays because of the increased tear evaporation and infrequent blinking of the eyes. So these are the two main factors which cause dryness in the present day world. And of course, air conditioning, dry air, hot air, and wind, they aggravate that. Dust pollution also aggravates that. But main factors are the screen.
Wow. I actually thought watery eyes एक अलग problem है और dry eyes एक अलग problem.
Of course, watery eyes can be because of many other reasons also. If there's any inflammation in the eye, any allergies, any infection, any intraocular inflammations, things like uveitis and all, they can also cause watering. Then if there's something wrong in the tear drainage system, there's a blockage there, that can lead to watering. So watering can be a symptom in itself, but dry eyes can also start with watering from the eyes.
That's a great finding. Talking about macular degeneration, is it something that one gets it by birth, or is it a lifestyle-driven thing?
So our eyes are constantly exposed to light.
Yeah.
And over the period of decades, that light does cause, in fact, the light continues to cause damage at all times. And there's a balance between damage and repair. So these are injury caused by light, and there's a repair which happens in the retina. As long as it is balanced, or the repair part is more active than the damaged part, our eyes, our retina, they remain healthy. But as we age, our reparative mechanisms become weaker.
Okay.
And damage continues to happen, and also the accumulated products of damage, they're there in the retina. So it's sort of a wear and tear of the retina which happens. Yes, if there's a familial tendency to that aggravates that. Environmental factors can aggravate that, but macular degeneration which happens with the age, the so-called age-related macular degeneration or senile macular degeneration, is predominantly a wear and tear phenomena with added predisposition to it which comes in the family, and aggravation which happens with the lifestyle. So smoking, exposure to toxins, exposure to chemicals, excessive exposure to the UV light, and ill health, otherwise poor nutrition can all aggravate that. But that aggravation happens over the lifespan. It's not just one time or short time thing, which also means that consuming antioxidants when the macular degeneration is set in, it will be of no use at all. It will not affect the eyes at all. It's already damaged. And sadly, there's no definitive treatment for that. The treatment which is there in the form of various injections and all are only have very, very minimal role to play in only stabilizing the disease to some extent. But it's a wear and tear phenomena, and once it sets in, it only goes downhill.
एक बार शुरू हो गया तो वो स्लो हो सकता है, थोड़े दिन के लिए मैनेज हो सकता है, बट स्टॉप तो नहीं होगा.
Yeah, so I can give you an example of my father himself got this disease, the age-related macular degeneration, and which became quite severe. So much so that ultimately he had a very poor vision. He could not read, he could not write, he could not recognize faces. So he could function otherwise very, very well. He could move around normally, but he could not recognize faces because in this center, there's a blob which comes, and the central vision is totally knocked out. Background vision is all right, but the central vision gets knocked out in this degeneration. So recognizing faces, seeing, looking at small things, reading and all becomes very, very difficult. And despite the fact that he had access to the best of the treatment, we could not do much to save his eyes. No? And in his case, the predisposing factors were there was a family history, he had asthma, he was a smoker all his life. So these were the factors which were aggravating the whole thing. A reversible or something that could have done what is the smoking, something which could have stopped, but he did not, and that did take a toll on his eyes in his later life.
So smoking, कितने साल की smoking is okay?
To rephrase your question, how much of poison is okay?
Is okay.
To,
Yeah.
How much of poison
Is
is okay to
reversible.
consume? How much of toxins are okay to take?
Yeah.
How much of a hurt is okay to bear? Right? So I think answer lies with the person himself or herself. Right? How much damage to your body you think is okay to give? Right? And I can, you bang your head into the wall, see how much hurt you can bear. I'm sorry, I'm being a little crude there.
No, that's
but,
right.
It's actually, it's like, like banging your head on the wall. And so smoking is like deliberate self-harm. One should not do it.
Deliberate self-harm.
Yeah. So one should not do it. Even a small amount of harm is not worth it. It's not, it doesn't benefit in any way. So
मैंने बहुत पहले कभी सुना था कि अगर स्मोक करते हैं और अगर आप अपनी पूरी लाइफ में अगर आपने 4-5 साल कंसिस्टेंटली कर लिया तो बस अब डैमेज हो गया, अब वो इतना इरिवर्सिबल है कि आप जिद्दी हो तो आप फिर पूरी जिंदगी कर ही लो बिकॉज यू हैव डन द डैमेज नाउ.
So the smoke does cause damage. Even a small amount of smoking will cause the damage, and then body has got amazing mechanisms to deal with it. Most of the time, small damages are repaired by the body. But again, see, you cannot predict that at what point of time will that fine thin line be crossed, and the damage will become irreversible. You cannot predict that.
Yeah.
So not every smoker lands up with the lung cancer. Right. So if that was predictable, probably people will not smoke, But it is unpredictable, and everybody responds differently. But there's no way for you to tell that whether your body will respond in a certain way or not. So it's best to not indulge in this kind of a self-harm. And the reasons are usually stress, but there are other ways of dealing with stress. I would say better ways of dealing with stress. Because stress itself is harmful.
How do you handle stress?
So stress is harmful, smoking is harmful, you're adding harm to harm. You're aggravating that. How do I deal with stress? Well, I have got a lot of passions. There are a lot of things which I like to do. And I indulge myself in all those passions. And that's my way of dealing with the stress. And also some amount of stress is normal. It's required in life. It keeps you going.
Some stress is required in life?
It's required in life. It keeps you going. And when there's no stress, there's also no motivation to do things.
Yeah.
So I say that life always goes there's ups and downs are there. True. As long as there are these ups and downs, like in a wavy form, it is fine. It should not be like this. That is stressful. So to blunt out those waves, you can do things, one is follow your passions, what pleases your heart. You have to follow your profession, of course, but you should also alongside follow the passion. Profession is important because it provides the fuel for your engine. But if you just put fuel in the engine, after some point of time, it'll break down. It'll cease, it'll stop. You also need to provide another element, that is the lubrication or the oil. This oil is all the passion, hobbies, fun things that we do.
Wow.
Right. So I say, okay, fine, you need a lot of fuel for the engine, but you do need some amount of oil for the engine.
Lubrication also.
Yeah. So even for the sake of your profession, you should have passions, because otherwise it leads to burnout.
Yeah.
You lose interest in your profession, you lose productivity, you lose your efficiency, you lose your creativity if you're an artist. So people often say, my passion is my profession, or my profession is my passion. No, if your passion has become your profession, please develop another passion alongside.
Wow.
Because you cannot monotonously 24/7 follow just one thing. There's no ban on that. There's no law which stops from doing that. And I do it myself. I have.
What all do you do?
Oh, well, the list is endless. To name a few:
Yeah.
photography, music, reading books, traveling, running, cycling, fitness, hiking. Motorcycling is a newer addition, and if whenever possible, mountain climbing. And I used to do art also as a child, but I stopped doing that. But that expression comes in the form of photography. So, and travel is also a passion with me. Sometimes, just learning about technology, gizmos. I've always had to desire to do things, new things. And so never kill your curiosity. Keep your curiosity alive. Keep your passions alive. Keep the child in you alive.
Does stress impact eyes? Somebody is very, let's say, fatigued, overworked, or their financial stress, or there are family issues. That kind of a stress?
Yes, it does affect the eyes because any stress affects the muscles of the body.
Right.
And almost the entire body muscles, they go into a state of contraction, spasm, tensed up. So does the muscles around the eye and inside the eye. And that can cause a lot of visual strain and fluctuation of vision. So there's this thing called entity called pseudomyopia or artificial myopia. It is associated with stress, associated with excessive near work, because the muscles inside the eye, they go into a state of contraction or spasm. And that leads to a false myopia. That false myopia can be easily reversed by taking measures to take care of stress in your lifestyle.
Wow.
And that is where all those alternative things work. That somebody's number got reversed. The number was not supposed to be there. The person was not supposed to be wearing glasses. That's how it got reversed. That number was because of the spasm of muscle because of a poor lifestyle. So by simply altering the lifestyle, the number got reversed.
So as a parent, when should I know that I have to get the child to the eye doctor?
Getting evaluation done is not a bad idea. Getting checkup done is not a bad idea. But one should not get paranoid about things. And I even go to the extent of saying that small little numbers don't have to be corrected also. If somebody's got a minor refractive error, one does not need to wear glasses. Only if it's beyond a certain level, then one should need to wear the glasses.
What could be that certain level?
I would say that my 0.5, 0.75, one does not really need to wear glasses. If it is say 1 or more than that, maybe that's when the glasses are required. But again, depending on the situation we be dealing with. And
if it's 0.5 or 0.75, then if you don't do anything, to badh hi jayega?
No, it does not.
Okay.
So the progression of the glasses number does not depend on your wearing the glasses. It is the clarity and the comfort of vision which depends on you wearing the glasses. The progression is a very natural phenomenon. That depends more on your heredity, to some extent on your lifestyle.
Wow.
But wearing glasses will not affect the progression. In fact, sometimes wearing glasses may actually slightly aggravate it also.
It may aggravate
slightly. I should not be saying this.
You should not be saying that.
This is
Against your profession.
politically incorrect.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it, that I have seen myself that people, especially for small numbers, when they start wearing them, they get more and more dependent, and then number tends to increase also.
It's like holding a crutch.
Yeah.
But अगर गए आई टेस्ट के लिए और आ गया 0.5, 0.75, तो क्या करें? चश्मा ना लगाएं तो
If you're
कैसे ठीक?
comfortable in your routine life, there's no strain, no discomfort. If there's no problem in seeing things around, you don't need to wear glasses.
और वो
Especially for
क्या वो
adults.
ठीक हो सकता है?
Especially for adults, no. For a small child, sometimes it may be required to wear a small number also. Again, those cases are very few. If there's an asymmetry in a child in the two eyes, then it can, there is a potential risk for laziness in the eye. That is where glasses are more required. If there's a squint and other issues in the eye, then glasses have become mandatory. But for otherwise a normal child who's got otherwise okay vision and comfortable, no such issue of laziness or squint, and there's a small little number, glasses need not be worn.
But अगर नंबर आ भी जाए, कोई इशू हो जाए, क्या ये एक्सरसाइजेस से आंखें ठीक हो सकती हैं?
Small numbers can be corrected, can be reversed. No. Say low myopia, which can be because of muscle spasm, can be reversed by eye exercises. Low hypermetropia need not be corrected because all of us, mostly people are born with the plus number. to the extent of almost +2 or so a child is born with, which becomes nearly okay by the time the child is about 5 to 7 years of age, becomes nearly 0 or so, or a little later.
Right.
So a small amount of plus number is normal in early childhood and need not be corrected. A high plus number or a high asymmetry in the two eyes, which needs to be corrected. A low myopia of less than 1, especially if there's not much of a cylindrical number, need not be corrected. 1 or more, it needs to be corrected because then the child is not able to see very, very clearly far off things. So his child is losing out on the information that he's supposed to receive.
What can a child do as a self-care for their eyes?
Play, play, play as much as you can outdoors, and out in the sun. Have fun in sun. So the mantra for the kid should be have fun in the sun.
That's a great one.
Yeah. For adults, I say run in sun. But for kids, I would say have fun in sun. No? So play around, jump around, go and play in mud, and be physically very, very active, be curious, and have a lot of outdoor time having fun. And that's important. And kids are supposed to have fun. And it is that fun also that makes the personality of the adult. So a child having fun and enjoying life will also lead to an adult who's having fun and enjoying his life. If a child is morose, mechanical, then it will only produce a mechanical adult.
Yeah.
And I don't think that parents would want their kids to grow up to become machines and robots. They would want them to be happy, living beings.
But in the growing up, we end up programming them.
Yes, so
knowingly, unknowingly.
I understand that. That's why I'm emphasizing again and again.
Yeah.
That parents should allow the kids to live their life, to enjoy the childhood.
What about special needs children? Children born with autism or any of the special needs. So, what specific signs can parents know of early enough to know that it's a vision that's getting affected?
So one should get the child's eye examination done.
How soon?
And as soon as the child is cooperative for an examination of the eye.
Okay.
Which is sometimes can be challenging. And at least any gross problems in the eye could be picked up and be treated. Because it's for a special child, it's very, very important to have good vision.
Yeah.
Because if the vision is not good, it can affect the overall personality and the development of the child.
Yeah.
Sometimes poor vision itself can adversely affect the mental growth.
True.
So it's important for the child to have a good, clear vision. And that really helps in their overall treatment and rehabilitation. So for that, an eye examination is required at an early stage, as soon as a child can be examined cooperatively. Yes.
But it's complicated because one is that anyways the child is slightly different from what one knows. So समझ में नहीं आता है that which organ is most compromised, right? So at that time, like eyes, if the child is not able to see as much as so-called normal child is able to see, तब तो concern आता है कि maybe there's something with the vision. But what I was trying to understand was that if the parent knows that the child is born with certain special needs, then could there be specific signs to save the eye?
So I think in this case, the child is not able to express the problem. And also because looking at the behavior of the child, parents cannot also not make a judgment. No.
Because there's so much happening.
Yes. So it's important for them to go for a routine examination of the eye. Okay. The other body organs are usually taken care of by the pediatrician.
Yeah.
For the eyes, they should consult an ophthalmologist. And sometimes one examination itself may not be enough to give you all the information.
Okay.
The child may have to be examined at different intervals to reach a proper diagnosis.
Because the growth is very fast at that time. Or very slow.
And sometimes we may have to take the patient under general anesthesia to be able to examine the eyes properly.
Even a little child?
Sometimes we may have to, if the situation so demands.
So good to know.
But it is important that the eye examination should be done.
And do different type of special needs, the Down syndrome or autism, do they have do they uniquely affect the vision? One different from the other?
Down syndrome has got some associated eye problems in it also.
Down syndrome has.
Unique to that, no? Then kids with the cerebral palsy can have different kind of problems. Kids who are born premature can have different kind of eye issues. Kids with pure autism do not have anything unique as such, but can have reflective errors associated with that, no? So which needs to be treated.
About cataract, there are what are the potential complications अगर कैटरैक्ट को ट्रीट ना करें? बहुत सारे लोग होते हैं वो कहते हैं कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. तो
So, cataract, if your vision is not affected, if your lifestyle is not being affected by this slightly reduced vision, you can wait. But ultimately, cataract does become severe enough to decrease the vision, and which will interfere with your routine life. There is a time to go in for surgery. Delaying does not help. Delaying can actually make things worse because then the surgery becomes more difficult and the risk of complication becomes higher. But again, on the other hand, at early stages, there's no real need for the cataract. It's the patient who decides when to go for cataract surgery.
but अगर treat नहीं किया
But if you do
cataract
not
को,
treat, then of course, then cataract can become more difficult to treat and can lead to additional complications. One should not. Most people do not, go to that stage these days. Most people are pretty well aware of things now.
can like a delay in cataract treatment cause like a complete vision loss also?
Infrequently, it can. Potentially, it can. But those situations are really very, very
Rare.
late, very, very late and infrequent. Most patients don't go to that stage themselves.
So cataract is a pretty safe surgery
Yeah,
today.
these days,
Might as well.
there's enough awareness in the masses to be able to get the treatment done at a reasonable stage.
So what is retinal pigmentation?
So what's technically called the pigmentary dystrophy of the retina
Okay.
is a condition like retinitis pigmentosa. And it's a hereditary condition.
It is hereditary.
Yes, where the rods and cones of the retina, which are the sensors of the eye, they are deformed.
Okay.
And that leads to degeneration of those rods and cones, the deposition of black pigment in the retina in the form of bony corpuscles. And it first affects the night vision.
Okay.
And so the person, the child or the adult may have difficulty in night vision and also called night blindness. And which can progress to affect the day vision also, can sometimes in severe cases progress to complete blindness also. And depending on what form it is or what kind of inheritance pattern it is taking, the progression may be affected by that. It's
But
more
if it's
common
hereditary, then why is it heard these days so much more? I thought it's more of a lifestyle.
No, the pigmentary retinal degeneration is a hereditary phenomena.
Okay.
Unless you're talking about something else, no.
No, I'm talking about the same thing.
Yes.
But so has it, like, we have started hearing more about it now.
Just the awareness is increasing. And because things are disease is getting more diagnosed early.
Yeah.
And they're being labeled and diagnosed. So we get to hear about them more often now. Not that they're happening more commonly. They were probably as prevalent earlier also. But we never heard about them because they're not diagnosed that way.
That's true. I actually thought it's more of, again, a screen related or a
No, screen has got nothing to do with the
thing, not with that.
retinal pigmentary disorders.
Hereditary.
Yeah.
And it's again something that happens, then it's bound to be passed on.
Yeah, it's not bound to be. The pattern of inheritance is very complex. It may or may not go to the next generation, but there's a high risk of it going.
So how does it progress over a time? If on a day one a person is diagnosed, then it's a huge fear. Yeah, because the success stories are closer to none. Right? So for an understanding, if one is diagnosed, then what's a fair thing to expect? कैसे जाएगा ये आगे?
So mostly it manifests, in teenage or adolescence, and they may slowly progress. And in many cases, it becomes stabilized by the middle age and leaving behind a very reduced vision. In some cases, it can progress to complete loss also. The person may be able to function okay in the routine life, taking care of himself or herself, but it may affect their professional requirements. So
cannot work on detailing.
Yeah, may not be professionally very productive, and so it may affect their life in a significant way.
Do the lights, the cinematography lights, the studio lights, and the eye makeup that people wear, does it have any harm on the eyes, or eyes are stronger enough?
So light is a form of energy, and the more energy gets delivered to the eye, to the retina, yes, it stimulates, but it also causes damage alongside.
It does.
It does, So more the light, the more is the damage done. But the body takes care of the damage most of the time.
Okay.
But over a period of years to decades, that damage can actually become accumulated in the form of a macular degeneration. So the light can be harmful in the form of footing injury that it produces. So if you're exposed to, if you're in a profession like this where strong lights are being used, give your eyes enough time to recover and rest. So use the lights only when it's required and not otherwise.
Sure.
And give your eyes sufficient time to rest and recover. Because you cannot do without the lights. The lights have to be on.
Yeah, like right now.
Yes, yeah. So take time off also, take frequent breaks as well. And so give your eyes time to recover. As far as the makeup is concerned, see, all makeup are basically a form of chemicals. The more chemicals you're exposed to, the more likelihood of harm is there. So for the makeup part, I say that use makeup when it's really required, not when it's not needed. And makeup should be external on the skin. No makeup should go into the eye.
Right.
So eyeshadow, eyeliner is okay.
Okay.
Kajal applied to the waterline is not okay.
Really?
So one should completely avoid that.
Wow.
And an eyeliner which dries up on the skin is perfectly fine. Mascara to be used extremely carefully if it is really essential.
What does it do?
Because mascara is a wet thing.
Yeah.
And you apply to the eyelashes. It
Yeah.
tends to go into the eye. So anything which can go into the eye can cause issues and problems. And one should...
Kajal. I mean, Kajal is such a traditional...
Yeah, so Kajal
eyewear.
was invented at a time when India had a lot of trachoma.
Yeah.
Especially in North India, 70% of people were suffering from trachoma. So Kajal was invented to treat trachoma as a medicine.
Really?
Because the Kajal had zinc in it, Kajal had copper sulfate in it. So it had an antibiotic.
When it was made from the earthen pot.
It was made from the things.
Yeah.
That was the purpose. But became a fashion treatment, it's a statement later on. It's no longer, in its original form, it's not required anymore because we got pure form of drugs now.
Yeah.
And for the treatment of trachoma has been taken care of. It's almost eradicated from North India now. We don't need Kajal medically. And but it continues to be, say for our cosmetic purpose.
Yeah.
So applying an eyeliner on the outside is fine, but Kajal goes into the eye, it can be harmful. One should avoid that. And so not just makeup on the face, but even the hair color is harmful for the eyes.
Hair color?
Can be harmful for the eyes.
Really?
Yes. Hair
color so far away?
Yes, so far away because it kind of somehow it keeps getting into your system, getting into your body, and can affect the eyes, can affect the entire body also.
Wow.
So if you read up about the hair coloring and its adverse effects, you'll be shocked to learn.
It has consequences on the eye.
It has consequences on the eyes. It has consequences on the entire body. It can be carcinogenic also.
Oh, really?
That's a fact. And no matter even if it's ammonia free, or people say, okay, fine, you get henna from the market. No, all full of chemicals. And wherever there are chemicals, there's a potential risk of harm to the body. Maybe henna, if you grow your own plant and you pluck the leaves and you crush it and apply it on your hair, that may be safe. But even the henna,
anything in the packet,
even in henna packet that you get from the market, will give rise to dark, black, brown color. Because it's all full of dyes and chemicals. And most of the dyes and the colors are hydrocarbons, and hydrocarbons are known to be carcinogenic in nature.
Oof. And so, I mean, today the trend about hair color, I wasn't even thinking about it, but now that you mention it, so hair color is something that women are getting it done every now and then.
And everywhere.
Yeah.
Across the country.
Yeah.
And that's why you would know that the incidence of cancer is also increasing.
Is there anything called as organic cosmetic? Like, could there be anything, can a kajal or a hair color really be?
Human body is beautiful as an organ.
Yeah.
So this is the most organic appearance that you can have,
Yeah.
Naturally, it's so beautiful. What is the need for putting an artificial layer on top of it?
No matter how seemingly safe it is.
I think one should look at a healthy body.
Yeah.
An able body is more beautiful than a painted face.
Absolutely.
So we should change our outlook to that. We should not be focusing on just the appearance of the face. We should be focusing on how able our body is.
Yeah.
And what good is a beautiful face if it cannot walk a flight of stairs? So
that should be the focus.
Yes, the focus should be on your health and fitness.
Yeah.
And spend all that energy and resources in health and fitness rather than on vanity or cosmetics.
But like we said, that for the artist community, where it's the occupation, it's the
Yeah,
need
so
of the
for the
profession.
occupational need, yes,
Rest
if
enough.
they have to use the cosmetics and or the makeup and all, take
Yeah.
it off after your show is done,
Yeah.
and do not use it when it's not required, and use it only when it's required, and minimal. So minimal in terms of quantity and the duration, and
TV serials, please listen. Minimal makeup is okay.
yeah. So but I think that maybe nowadays you can even Photoshop the face afterwards. That is safer
That's
than
safer for
safer than putting a
everybody.
layer of makeup.
Yeah. Use AI.
Yes.
Use AI here.
Yes. Yeah.
True.
Yes.
Are there cases that you right now recall where, let's say, the situation was like really, really bad, and then it was a miraculous win?
There are many examples.
Sure.
I may have forgotten most of them.
Yeah.
And one case that I can recall is I saw one child, a 13-year-old child, in a government hospital who came with something called Steven Johnson syndrome.
Okay.
And then the whole body was affected, the skin recovered, but the eyes remained affected. And slowly over a period of time, she lost vision in both her eyes. And or the vision became very, very poor. We could not do much to save and salvage. The condition was such. It was a severe case of Steven Johnson syndrome. But fortunately, she grew up, she got married, she had some vision in one of the eyes. She got married, she had a child. But by the time she had a child, that vision in that other eye was also completely lost. As a result, she had not even seen her own child.
Oh.
Then we thought, okay, fine, now it's a very, very advanced stage of disease. We should do something, to give some vision to the patient. Then I identified an expert somewhere down south. I got in touch with him. So we went in for an artificial cornea implant for that lady. They could not afford, so we had to arrange funds for her to send her for the treatment. And the doctor there also was very, very cooperative and helpful and gave a big concession. So she got an artificial cornea or a prosthetic cornea, what is called keratoprosthesis implant in one of the eyes.
Okay.
And after that, it was for the first time that she saw her own child. And that was almost miraculous.
Indeed.
And later on, some years down the line, that implant did not work, had to be replaced. Then again, some years down the line, again that implant was also not working. So she again lost vision. But at least for some brief period of time, she could see her child and she could kind of be a proper mother to the child.
So-called normal.
Yes, yeah,
lifestyle.
And so that is one example.
Wow.
Very
From
very
like,
morbid example, a sad example, but
Yeah.
there was a brief period of
no, it's miraculous.
brief miraculous period also was there.
Absolutely.
And then there are many cases where people come with complicated bads. I had a young patient, a young girl, unmarried young girl, who had lost one eye, even despite a surgery done at a big institute. In the other eye, patient had glaucoma and cataract and inflammation, a very complicated situation.
Young child.
Young
person.
girl in about her 20s or so.
Oh.
And first we controlled her inflammation and the glaucoma, then treated a very complicated case of cataract, gave her a good vision. And her whole personality changed, and she still comes back happy and cheerful, and her outlook is amazing. And so there are many examples like that who had, see, from blindness to vision is actually a miracle, right? In ophthalmology and eye care, people don't lose life, but they lose their sight, which is as good as losing life. So restoring vision to a person who cannot see is actually making a miraculous difference in their lives. So these such stories are very common in our field of medicine, and I think it happens with most doctors.
Where does India stand in ophthalmology compared to the rest of the world?
So in terms of expertise and technology and experience, we are way ahead of many of the places in the West.
Wow.
And but our population is so huge, the problem load is so huge.
Yeah.
And all the eye care facilities are concentrated only in the cities and all. So that is where the problem lies. So there's no uniformity of care delivery, and there's no uniformity of the standards and the quality maintained.
Yeah.
But on the whole, I think we're doing quite
on a global standard. India is
pretty high up. No?
high up.
So there's a lot of variation. Even in our training and education, there's a lot of variation.
Yeah.
But we have both the extremes, of highest, best of technology and best of expertise to the worst of expertise also. So the whole gamut is there.
So this is a good news that India's medical fraternity is doing the top-notch job. Good. एंड आई थिंक मेरा तो ये लाइफस्टाइल वाला जो एक क्वेश्चन था वो भी ईज ऑफ हो गया कि बात सिंपल ये है कि हम ज़्यादा देर तक बैठे रह रहे हैं भाई वी आर सिटिंग वे टू लॉन्गर देन व्हाट वी नीड टू उसका ऑब्वियसली एक जरिया स्क्रीन बन गया है चाहे काम के लिए चाहे एंटरटेनमेंट के लिए बट मुद्दे की बात यह है कि ज़्यादा घंटे तक बैठने से बहुत सारी परेशानियां हो जाती है बॉडी में ओके लेट्स गेट अप लेट्स मूव लेट्स डू मोर फिजिकल थिंग्स जितना कर रहे हैं उससे थोड़ा सा और कर लेते हैं बिकॉज वी रियली डोंट नो हाउ मच इज गुड इनफ राइट सो बी विद मी ऑन दैट That's great. The doctors are good. Our medical fraternity is good. And I hope you love Dr. Dhawan as much as I do. So it is good to know a doctor like that, isn't it? कि कभी कोई प्रॉब्लम हो तो आपको पता है कि आंख बंद करके एक ऐसे डॉक्टर के पास चले जाओ साउंड एडवाइस मिलेगी सो आई होप दैट हैपेंड एंड विद दैट नोट आई मस्ट इनवाइट यू टू लिसन टू डॉक्टर हरित चतुर्वेदी ऑल्सो वो कौन है टॉप ऑन्कोलॉजिस्ट ऑफ द कंट्री डॉक्टर हरित चतुर्वेदी इज रियली एक ऐसे कैंसर डॉक्टर हैं जिनकी पूरी फ्लोर भरी रहती है नॉट जस्ट बिकॉज कि अच्छे डॉक्टर हैं बट बिकॉज लोग ब्लाइंडली ट्रस्ट करते हैं उन पे and he is a very similar personality as Dr. Dhawan, a man of integrity, a man who you can trust. So he also talks about कि screen is the new tobacco for India. Screen is the new tobacco for India. What does he mean by that? It's a long conversation, so जाइए उनका podcast सुनिए and I hope it helps. So with that, keep enjoying Flirting with the Fish and do share a comment with us about what you liked, maybe something that you didn't like. अगर आपके कुछ questions हैं डॉक्टर धवन के लिए, please share it here and I'll try my best to get your answers to you. Thank you. Keep enjoying. Keep flirting with the fish.